everybody and welcome back to episode 6 of the Crafty Poppet Crochet Podcast. This is my little place where I share with you all of my crochet adventures. I am coming to you from Lismore, New South Wales, Australia, and I can be found on Facebook and Instagram as the Crafty Poppet. First of all, I do just want to say a big thank you to all of my returning and new subscribers. It really just means the world to me, so thank you so much for joining in and pressing that like and subscribe and leaving your comments, taking the time to do so. Really, it's just overwhelming. It really means a lot. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm not sure if I said my name in that introduction. I am Asa Marie. I have got a lot to share with you in this episode. I'm so excited to be back. I have taken about a 3-week break this time between podcasts just because life. And in this episode, I'll just flip to my notes page where I've got that written down so I don't miss anything. I have got to share with you one finished object. One work in progress that is actually a test, and I have a little bit about joy and Marie Kondo and how I'm going to apply that to finishing all of my hibernating whips this year. I then also have some maker plans and crochet alongs, and at the end I've got a huge amount of stash acquisitions to share with you. So we can have a look at all of the yarn I purchased throughout the month of January, and it's a lot. It's a real lot. So without further ado, I guess let's get stuck in. My first finished object I don't actually have here with me because it is a present for my lovely Nan, and I have already sent that off to her for her birthday, which is going to be on the 10th of February. So hopefully she gets that in time. The pattern is the Emergence of Spring stole. I don't know if it's called a stole or if it's called a shawl. The Emergence of Spring. Maybe it's called a wrap. It is by Zeens and Roger, so Rosina from Zeens and Roger rather, designed the Emergence of Spring wrap, and it was absolutely beautiful. I did it in a beautiful purple cotton that I bought from the op shop. I have no idea where it came from. There was no bull band in the packet that I bought, and but it just turned out so wonderfully. I'm really happy with how it came out. The pattern was written beautifully. I've got no worries with the Emergence of Spring wrap. I would thoroughly recommend it. Very easily accomplished and a joy to make. I will be making one for myself. I just don't know out of what at this time. So that is my finished object. I'll move straight on to my work in progress, which is also a test make. Very happy with how this is turning out. Have you heard of Waking Winter? This is also by Rosina from Zeens and Roger. And she's gone and done it again because it's another beautiful pattern. I really love it. And it is working up a treat. Excuse all my ends. I am near to the end of the project. However, I've got lots of ends to tuck in. And so you can see that I've got the pink and then the brown, and then after the brown it'll go to a green. And oh, I just love that pattern. I don't know if I can get it off now. How gorgeous is that pattern? I'm so excited for this to be finished. I can't wait. And it's going to be so big and warm and cozy for winter. But it's not wool because I'm in Australia. And I would just die. Honestly, I struggle in winter to keep a blur shawl on all day. It's very, very mild in the winter here in Australia, in this part of Australia anyway. So I'm not going to need something super heavy, and I also can't stand the prickle of wool yarn against my neck. It's not for me. So I am using this yarn. It's just by Lincraft, super soft, and that Lincraft is just a local yarn store to me in Australia. That is, it's nationwide. That's what I'm trying to say. I am loving this project and I cannot wait for it to be finished. I may even finish that today. And if it's not today, then definitely tomorrow. Or I'll finish the project proper today and then tuck in the tails tomorrow, something like that. I'm very excited for it. I am using a 3.75mm hook with this yarn, which again is super soft. I show you this yarn like you can go and get it. I don't think you can. I think it's just become discontinued. This has been in my stash for a long time. What could you do? You could go on to Facebook and go to the marketplace and see if anybody has that yarn there. You could go on to Etsy and look for vintage yarns and see if anybody is selling it as a vintage yarn. You could go to eBay and see if anyone is selling it on there in their shop. Or you could go onto yarnsub.com and punch in this yarn and see if it pops up with a suggested yarn that is very similar. You could also do that yourself when you know that it is 50% micro acrylic and 50% micro nylon. So that is what you could do to create a similar material to what I have. But as I say, Rosina has used a beautiful yarn, a wool yarn, which is Blacker Yarns, I believe, and that is 100% wool. I had this all folded up, and then I just held it up for another split second. Okay. So that concludes works in progress. So moving swiftly on, I have been watching Marie Kondo, and boy is she full of good ideas. I just really love her methods for tidying up. So Marie Kondo is a tidying and organisation expert from Japan, and she has a channel with TV shows where she goes around to people's homes and basically gets them into gear about sorting out all of their stuff and provides them with a method as to how they can go about doing that. And this is the method that she uses, and if I hold it up you can see it later on, and you can get prettier looking ones on Pinterest, which is where I just copied this out from. But basically, number one is committing yourself to tidying up all at once, so you don't flag, I suppose, and just sort of think, oh yeah, that's enough. Number two is imagining your ideal lifestyle in order to prevent relapse. That makes sense. Number three is holding an item with both hands and asking yourself, does this spark joy? And she says, if it doesn't, that's how you know that you don't want it or need it in your life anymore. I think that's such a fantastic way of looking at things. And that is exactly how I am going to be applying this method to finishing all of my hibernating works in progress. But to carry on with her method, number 4 is finish discarding before moving on. That's pretty logical as well. And number 5 is to organise by category, not room. And number 6 is to go in order. These are the categories: clothes, books, papers, and kimono, which means miscellaneous or just other things that didn't fit into those categories. And then to finish with sentimental items. I've been watching a lot of those shows and I've been really enjoying them, and straight away I thought to myself, I could really use that strategy to finish my works in progress. And one of the things that she does when people are tidying up their clothes is to get them to hold an item with both hands and ask them to ask themselves, does this spark joy? And if you don't feel that, then you know that you don't want it. And so it's very easy for you to move on rather than keeping it for no apparent reason. And so I thought, I'll do this with my works in progress. And so I went through my huge box of works in progress. And now I'm happy to say I have narrowed that down to a wonderful looking basket of things that I know I want to finish. And I'll start with this one, because this was featured recently on the podcast. This is my Spotting Clouds top, and I'm such a terror. I didn't weave in the ends when I finished the little tutorial that I did. So I know I want this sparks joy for me. I want to finish it. I want to have it in my wardrobe, and I've got it here where I can see it. And this idea of putting them in the basket is another one of Marie's suggestions, is to organise your drawers by folding your items in your drawers, your clothing items in your drawers, in a way that you can see them. And she has a method for folding, and you can go and punch that into Google and I'm sure it'll pop right up. Basically she does things in thirds, but I just thought I would take the part where I'm putting these hibernating whips where I can see them, rather than having them tucked away in a box where I cannot see them and they are very much out of sight, out of mind. So I also have this hat, which I initially made for my dad's birthday, and then I did not like that for him anymore. I didn't think that he would wear a slouchy hat. And then I thought it doesn't really work as a slouchy hat because it's acrylic and it's not slouchy quite enough. So I thought I could make it into a beanie by taking out a couple of the rows here where I have worked with no increase. So that is exactly what I will do, and that is here in my site for me to see and for me to remember to complete. Next, I've got this wonderful Concentric Circles Scrappy Rug. Scrappy Concentric Circles Rug. Yeah. And I just have had this out of sight, out of mind, so I have never thought to myself, oh, I know, I'll go and continue working on that. I'm sorry if I look at my watch. I suddenly realised I didn't know what the time was, and unusually for a Sunday I'm working for a couple of hours this evening, so my heart just went in my mouth a moment. I thought I didn't have enough time. Next I've got here a little snail. and I think his name is going to be Ernie. But as you can see, his eyes are all wobbly, and that's because they're not sewn on yet. And obviously his shell needs to be attached. So I really think he's very funny, and that needs to be completed. This one has also been on the podcast recently. This is the Floral Pouch by Gossio, or Piero Yarns. I never really know who it's by. And that needs attaching. I want to take out some of the rows so that it's not quite so tall, because I don't like it. And then I need to attach that. I also need to line it. So I know exactly what I need to do with that. There's no excuse, really. This is one of the most beautiful squares I have ever seen, and I just love it ever so much. And I realised the other day what I would like to use it for. I would like to make a craft room tablecloth with this square. Yes. It's so beautiful. I don't think I have nearly quite enough navy yarn to work this up in, and I think it would be quite dark if I did it all in navy anyway. So I might do it in white. And I think I've probably got enough white. So that will definitely be happening at some point. This, I think, was called the Foxglove scarf, and I realised that I don't have enough of this cotton to complete the project, and so I stopped. That's not enough. And then the other day I sort of just, oh, that fell on the floor, put it around like that, and then I realised that it would be the perfect size right now for a cowl. So all I really need to do is seam that up, or make sure that it's on the right row of the repeat so that it won't look very odd, and then I can do that. Then there's this funny thing. Hello! This is the beginning of a hand puppet that's going to have three-dimensional eyes sitting right here, and a tongue, and maybe some teeth. I think it's very funny, and I definitely need to finish it. I think that's a really good one, and I just want to make it talk all the time. Oh dear, I'm a bit silly sometimes. Next, oh, Ernie's shell just rolled away. I have this wonderful spiral wall hanging that I made. I was learning how to do the spirals in crochet. So that's a one colour spiral where you just work into the back stitch only, and then you get the raised ridge so that you can see the definition of the spiral. And then I did 2 colours, and then I finally did 3 colours. However, you can see it's fairly floppy and curly, so it just needs a backing, and then that will be a viable wall hanging. So I'm really looking forward to doing that and getting it on the wall. Next I have here, I really like the colours in this, and that's why I've decided to continue with this one. Next I have the top of a bag. I think this is going to be the top of a bag. So I'm really looking forward to putting the bottom on that. And then, second to last, I have this. This beautiful square is worked up in a vintage Twillies cotton called Random Lemon, which I just love the colourway name of. And although I really don't think that they used random in the modern sense, I think they literally mean random. And it was going to be a motif top. However, I do not want to have to wear 2 layers of clothing in summer, and I just don't see using it even in Australian winter. I think it would still be too light as a strapless top. So I think what I'm going to do is finish it and but just flat, because I think that it will end up being the correct width for my craft room window, and I will end up with a craft room curtain, and then that will be perfect. So, and that will be a lovely bright element to add to the room. So I'll just fold that one up and pop it over here. And then very last is one of my very first works in progress that I ever began, and this was a bag from Sharon Mayer's website. She's Laughing Purple Goldfish, I believe .blogspot.com, and I think she's got a Ravelry group also. And so this is her little bag, and it just has a little now I've always said picket instead of picot, and I was saying this to Faye on the last global hookup. I don't know why it's taken me so long to catch on that it's actually a French word and it should be pronounced picot, but to me it's picket. I can't get out of the habit. I read it and I think picket, like picket fence, but that's spelt completely differently, so that doesn't make much sense at all. But anyway, it's got a picket edging. And I just marled the yarns. It was a pink and white yarn that was already marled together, and then I held like a baby blue yarn together with that. And so that just needs handles, and she actually gives a very in-depth handle tutorial on her blog, so I hope that is still there, because they were the handles to go with this. You make like your own rope out of the very same yarns that you used for your bag, which I don't think I have anymore, but that's okay. I can just use plain yarn. I think will be fine. And then that just needs a lining. Maybe it needs a little something on the side, a little, maybe a heart, a flower. I don't know. I'll have a look. And so those are the hibernating whips that I shall be trying to complete this year, and they are not out of sight, out of mind. They are in a lovely basket where I can see them. They are on my craft room table, and if ever I get the urge to just give myself that little win, that little victory of, hey, I finished something, you know, I can come along and I can simply tuck 2 tails into my Spotting Clouds top and think to myself, oh, I achieved something. And, you know, it just makes you feel so much better. You know, or I can take out a couple of rows and redo the top of a hat. It's going to take me an evening, you know, not even. So it's just perfect to have them all out in front of me where I can see them constantly. And that on my mind. And fingers crossed I get it all done. So I'll just pop that back there. And then it's going to be time for stashquisitions. I'm going to need a glass of water for this before we start. It's been ever so humid. My hair's just gone. That's why I've got so much of it back today. So, bearing in mind, this is everything that I have purchased from the op shops in the month of January, and I've done very well. First of all, oh look, I haven't opened this one. I've got for $8. I've got this. Look, see, $8. I've got this big bag of this sort of, I thought I had opened this one, maybe I taped it back down. It's not going to sound very nice, but I'll be quick. Oh dear, that was loud. There we are, it's open, this big bag of this bright red, it's not, oh, it's on my little camera's monitor, it's coming up quite red indeed, but hopefully on the, on your TV screen it's not quite super bright red. It's it is an orange red, but it's still quite nice. I think it still suits me. And so I thought basically this is a jumper quantity. That's ridiculous. And it is sort of it's a sort of boucle. So that should be very fun to see what I can come up with. I think I would have to use something like a 4.5 or a 5mm hook for that. Next, I think I'm going to have to do these ones next because they're going to fall down at any moment. I could not believe when I walked in to the op shop that had these taking up all of the room in their yarn basket. How big are these things? This is ridiculous. It's quite chunky. I wonder if it gives a recommendation. It says 6.5mm knitting needles. I think I'd probably go for about the same, maybe a 7mm crochet hook for this. So much yarn. They actually block out so much sound. They're so big. Okay. Oh, still didn't pick that yarn up. Okay. I'm going to have to put those over there. Goodness me, they're very large. And so the next thing that I have is some more chunky yarn. I have 5. Oh, so how much were these? I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. $4 I got that for. Now do bear in mind these are Australian dollars. So $4, it'll just about get you a small coffee. Next, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 balls, 50 grams, 100 gram balls of, oh, it's quite soft, super soft, magenta chunky knitting yarn by Creative Corner. I do not know what this is going to be. I do like this magenta. And this was $4.50 for those 1, 2, 3, 4 skeins. Oh, it looks like someone's left a little sample in there. How useful. There we are. That looks like single crochet. Is it? I don't know what it is. Yeah, it is single crochet. They worked into the back bumps. So it's got the V-stitch on both sides. I couldn't tell at first. So that's how it works out. That's nice. Nice indication of how it's going to turn out. Next, I've got this Panda Magnum 4-ply. And I thought this one was really good because it's $1 and I get 415 meters for this one. So that's pretty spectacular value. It's very, very soft. And yes, I could absolutely have it next to my neck. Really nice. So I smell a shawl. This one, 3-ply. Again, very good value for money because $1 and 560 meters. Next I've got this, the Wool Collective, and it looks like it's like some vintage Kmart stuff, because it's still got the original tag on there, and that would have been $3. I don't know that you'd manage that these days. I got sort of 1, 2, 3, 4-ish, maybe 5 skeins because some of it's already been wound for $4.50. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that is, and it's a beautiful cream colour as well. It's really gorgeous. And so the next, oh, I couldn't believe it. I found a a brand new cushion insert for $3. Look at that. So there's definitely a cushion in my future. Then there's a whole ball of this wonderful blue boucle yarn, and I just want to see what on earth I can do with some of this boucle. It would be really interesting to do some crocheting with some more unusual materials. Maybe I can hold it together. Maybe I can crochet it over some rope and make a basket. It would be very interesting to see what I come up with. Again, with the unusual materials, I found this sort of silver cord for $1, and I thought that that might be really great for crocheting up some jewellery, actually. And I think there's more than enough to do a big necklace and a bracelet, so I think that's what's going to happen with that one. And I guess we'll carry on in the same vein. Have you ever seen these before? These are just brilliant. And this was only 50 cents. Oh, am I lying? I thought it said $2 for a moment. 50 cents. And it's this, can you see that? Quite well, actually. It's very, very fine, and so when you pull it taut like that to crochet with it, it goes quite small. And it's the stuff, it's that meshy stuff that ladies used to make crochet hangers with, like the covers for them. And I only know that because I said to the lady in the op shop, "What on earth did you used to use this for? I would really like to know." And she said straight away, "Oh, I used to use that all for crochet coat hangers to make them padded." And I said, "Oh, that's a good idea, but I think I might have a look." What a gorgeous blue. I think I might have a look at doing again some crochet jewellery with this one. And so then next I've got this wonderful lilac-y purple velvet yarn, and I thought that that would lend itself really well to a crochet scrunchie, so I'm definitely going to try one of those. And then this is going to be, because I managed to find enough of it for, I think it was about 15 balls I managed to find, and for only about $27. It is wool. It is Payton's 5-ply machine wash, pure new wool, 100% Australian wool, just in this lovely cream. It is it's a crepe yarn. I don't know if you can see that. I want to do the, not the Jessica, the Chloe cardigan by Dora Orenstein, and it is in the book of hers, which is called Top Down Crochet Sweaters. There it is. And so I have enough to do that. I was hunting and hunting and hunting. Oh my goodness me, I went deep stash, I've got nothing. And now I've got the yarn to do that cardigan. This one was pretty good as well. I ended up finding 9 of these, and it's a lovely cotton. It's coral cotton by Panda. It's 51% cotton and 49% acrylic. So, and it's just this beautiful creamy colour, and I think I did manage to get 1 beige ball of it and 1 peach as well within the 9. So I think I've got 7 of these. Next, I've got some pretty funky colours. And you guys, I haven't done it yet, but you guys are probably going to recognise this from the photograph at the beginning of the episode. It is going to be something to do with a rainbow. But I've got some talk about that coming up next. And so this one, so that's 4 balls, just acrylic, brightly coloured, $3. You cannot complain. And then, again, I've got slightly bigger balls in here for $4. Great colours. And then I've got another one. It is all variegated, and I do have a plan for this one. This bag cost me $3, and Jada in Stitches actually has a YouTube video out, and I really don't know how old it is, but she recommends in that she gives lots of suggestions as to what you can do in crochet for variegated yarn, and one of her recommendations is to hold 3 different variegated yarns triple and make a crocheted basket. So that is exactly what I'm going to try with this. I really want to see how it turns out because I think they're all quite different, and it should work brilliantly, I think. Last but not least, oh, this one's actually quite heavy for, you know, a bag of ribbon. $2. Can you believe that? A bag of ribbon and a bit of eyelash yarn. I thought it'd be interesting to see what I can work up with the eyelash yarn. And I've got all of these ribbons which I may or may not use for crochet. I think it would be really interesting to see how they do crochet up. Maybe I can make some little things to put on presents for people come Christmas time, make some bows, or I don't know. But I would really like to see what I come up with this. It's sort of, it reminds me of a hydrangea. I would really like to see what can I do with that and crochet. So that is quite a little haul, isn't it? I'm pretty pleased with it. And now I have to figure out where it's all going to go, because I tell you what, this is all getting pretty chockers back here. I'm running out of space again. Alright. We are nearing the end of this episode, but first, I do have a couple of maker plans and crochet alongs that I wanted to mention. And my maker plans are I may have given it away before. A Lottie and Albert rainbow blanket. I want to do that for the Canadian Crocheter's low cowl, and she has called it that because the feature of her crochet along is to do something in crochet that pertains to the area local to you. So I suppose that could be an actual thing, like I'm doing a rainbow. I'm doing something rainbow related because my little region of Australia is known as the Northern Rivers, but it's also known as the Rainbow region. So I thought that would be perfect, and I really wanted to do the Lottie and Albert rainbow blanket for a long time. Pretty much as soon as it came out, I wanted to do it, but I just didn't have the yarn, and then I found it at the op shop right away, so I was really stoked. That is going to happen. That is definitely going to happen. I just need to decide which colours are going to make up my rainbow, but I'm thinking quite a bright rainbow. I know that people are doing grainbows with some grey in there, and it's a little bit more muted, but I think for this one I think I want it to be quite rainbowy. The other maker plan that I have is to do with another crochet along, and it is being run by the beautiful Amber from W.I.P Crochet, and this sort of mixes in with my shout out as well, because Amber gave me a wonderful shout out and she said some beautiful kind words about me and my podcast, and I just wanted to thank her so very much. It's really touching. It's kind of overwhelming, actually. You do get a bit lost for words sometimes, and you did exactly that. So thank you so much for your lovely words, Amber, and yeah, right back at ya. If you haven't watched any of Amber's episodes, she is over on YouTube at Crochet, and she is running a crochet along, and she has a feature for her crochet along as well. She is holding it based on musicals, and so what you have to do is to crochet something musical related. Straight away I was thinking of Mary Poppins, and I think that's perfect because it's set in the Victorian era, so there should be some crochet that I might be able to glean if I watch the movie again. I'll have to have a look and get back to you. For now, I think that is about all I have time for. So thank you so much if you joined in, and if you liked this episode, please don't forget to click the like button and hit subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the bell for notifications. And next time I will be sharing with you all of my book stash acquisitions from the month of January, and let me tell you, there were a lot. I have a huge pile to share with you, and I can't wait to get into those with you. So tune in next time for more stash acquisition goodness. Until then, thank you so much everybody, and stay crafty. Bye.